How do you stay hungry?
It's a very interesting question. You become desensitized to success and you become desensitized to failure. We did £500,000 of sales in a day. I was worse off because of it. I literally went out of business within a month. I'm going to drag you to Jannah with me, man. I want you to drag me. And how do you drag each other? You drag your whole community with you. So your focus must be your community. Then your family's going to say, yeah, he was always a failure. And your friends, they're going to go, yeah, what an idiot. Right? He thought he was a big shot. Big businessman he thinks he is, right? Ihsan demands that you do something to the best of your ability and you aim for perfection, even though you'll never achieve perfection. Barakah in his life, in his money, in his wealth. Sometimes I've had a lot and it didn't have any barakah in it, and sometimes I've had little, but it had barakah. Being bombed for 2 years now, right? Being bombed constantly, daily, displaced, starved, the family members killed. They say Alhamdulillah, and you have the audacity to say, I'm tired. And I'm tired of what? What are you tired from?
With factories and operations stretching from the UK to the Netherlands, is proof that purpose and performance go hand in hand. This is Zhagum Arshad, and this is a conversation you don't want to miss. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
How are you keeping?
Good until you made that intro. I'm like, what's it called? I feel unworthy.
I was actually going to say I'm really happy for you to join us on the podcast itself. As I say with many of our guests, you guys are doing wonderful work. Depending on whatever life you guys are in terms of business, in terms of the job, in terms of the impact that you guys are making. Again, you've got family, you've got kids. So, taking out time to come on the podcast and, with the sole intention to hopefully we can inspire the viewers and we could share that. And, a lot of the knowledges and the experiences that you've got of over 20, 30 years of experience, a lot of us will not have. So hopefully, I'll be the first one to, get all of the learning. So a lot of the questions will be hopefully for me so I can learn and grow in the businesses that I want. So yeah, again, the things that we want to speak about is going to be brand building. It's going to be mindset. And lastly, it's going to be giving back and Islam. So the first thing I want to speak about is, before all the brands get built, I want to talk about the mindset, the person that you are. So the first question that I've actually got is, all the wins, how do you keep the ego in check and stay hungry? And the reason for that is because I'm sure you're familiar with the quote, the hype of a person's own manufacturing is the cause of their own demise. So a lot of the times we'll have just a very small success, and that will constantly be with us. However, a lot of entrepreneurs or a lot of successful business guys, they might be closing a £10,000 project, or they might do very well in a Black Friday sale. It doesn't just stop there. They'll be very happy with that single day, but the next day is a brand new day. So how do you keep hungry, and how do you stay hungry?
It's a very interesting question. Yeah. You become desensitized to success, and you become desensitized to failure. Both things happen. So what generally happens as you progress in your business is you win some things and some big things happen. Like when I broke my 1-day sales record for the first time, it was like, wow, yeah, I can do this much sale in a day. I went and told about 3 people and went like, we did this yesterday. And then you break that again and again. And there's been times like where we've 10x'd that in a day. And I felt nothing. Not like, I don't mean that from an ingratitude point of view. I'm grateful to Allah every day for everything, right? Because I have no right to have anything, right? It's like Allah's blessed me with it. But you become desensitized to, it's just numbers.
Of course.
It means nothing.
Yeah.
Does my life improve? No. There's no, actually it gets worse. I get busier. Yeah. Right? I have less time.
Yeah.
So what does that material success mean in a day? It means nothing. Sometimes you can, look like, I don't like talking numbers, but like there was a day where we did £500,000 of sales in a day once, right? I was worse off because of it. I literally went out of business within a month.
By the way, that is mental, by the way.
Right. Within a month, I was out of business.
Out of business?
Out of business.
Yeah.
That 500,000 sale happened and I was like, yeah, done it. Wow, smashed it. We can't believe it. Look what we just did. Was gone, right? Long story, but basically, you guys know about CityLink was a carrier. They went out of business and I had trucks and trucks of stock going out from that sale in that in that thing.
course.
And I got it back, but I got it back in such condition that I couldn't resend it. And literally we closed down.
Close down.
So within a month from that elation, you know what we say in Urdu, arsh to farsh, right? Is what's it called? Is like you just drop down. Imagine, right? So next time that happens, did more than that in a day since then, but it wasn't the same. I wasn't like, oh, I've arrived, I've smashed it, I've done this. I just went, all right, is that the figure? Okay, because I know that you could collapse from there, that high point, any minute. You're nothing, you're nobody. And you shouldn't be celebrating those material successes. You should be focused on why you do it, the purpose of it itself. That doesn't go away, the purpose stays. The momentary success is fleeting. It doesn't last. I know that because I've been on both sides. I've seen it, and multiple times. You celebrate a business win, I've signed a deal.
Yes.
Great deal. I'm celebrating, this is fantastic. Next day, the deal's all cancelled, right? So happens, right? So don't celebrate too early is one probably good idea to adopt. And the other side is, remember who is the giver of success. Allah gives and He takes away. So your shukr should be, a win has happened, do sajda shukr. I sometimes have to be reminded about these things, right? Like, someone in the office will say, you just had this great win, do sajda shukr. I'll take my prayer mat out immediately and do sajda. And you forget in the moment because you think it's you. You imagine your ego has to be kept in check. You think you did it. You didn't do anything. You can do all the right things and never achieve one success. But you can, sometimes just coast along and Allah gives you success after success, right? Allah gave it, remember? Not you. So your ego shouldn't be just taking off Red Bull with wings, right? It shouldn't be your ego. Here, your ego needs to be grounded. Why do you put your head on the ground so many times in a day? Because you need to know your ego needs to be nothing. You're nothing.
Check, yeah.
But we need to remind ourselves of that. And in business, it's one of those places where you lose it quickly.
Yes.
You start to think you're somebody. You think you're special. You think you're got great abilities. You start to, because people boost you up.
Yes.
You meet them. They do an intro like you did, right? And you're like, man, you're okay. Yeah, man,
This
you know
is
what? I must be something then, right? But internally, as you were speaking, I was saying to myself, you don't deserve any of this. You know the truth of who you are, right? You're nothing. But people may say this person's achieved success. No, you haven't. Allah gave you some success, and He's also going to ask you what you did with it. And that should be the thing you wake up with every morning, as Allah gave me some success, gave me knowledge, gave me people, gave me resources, gave me all these honors in this world. I get to pay people salaries. I get to honor for me, isn't it? It's not me. Allah gave me all those honors, but what did I do with it? Oh, I bought a nice car. Well done. Shabash, right? You done a great job. No, those aren't the things that count.
Yeah.
The things that are gonna count are gonna be the things that you went out of your way to do and sacrificed to do.
Yeah.
You could have bought a house, but you chose to open a factory that employs people. Good move, I'd say. Good move. Most people I know would say, dumb move. Why are you spending money on that stuff? What's that got to do with what you do?
Exactly. Yeah.
And you're like, well, yeah, but I'm gonna leave this world not with that house or that property or that asset. I'm gonna leave with my deeds. And my deeds need to be the thing I'm concentrating on. So for, an answer to your question, long way to answer it, but it's about success and failure, looking at both together. And all entrepreneurs talk about the successes, me included. I did this. What about the failures? Don't talk to anyone about them. They're quiet between you and, yourself, right? You just keep those inside. We do need to talk about failure and accept it. And I was in a project recently where the other people in the partners in the project haven't had many businesses, and I have. And we were talking about the risks and everything, right? And I said, I'm quite desensitized to the risks.
Of course.
I've failed so many times in so many things that it's normal for me. It's okay. Yeah. I know that it won't be as detrimental as it seems. I'll survive. I'll be all right. Allah will protect me. Whereas for other people, it's like, well, what if I fail? And I said, yeah, but What if you succeed?
Exactly. Yeah.
How about that? Like, look at the positive angle instead. So experience, I think, here is you gain that, and it should fortify the Muslim in this space and say that I'll be okay. And so for me to be able to talk about these kind of things is to give that little bit of inspiration to somebody somewhere needs to hear it and say, don't worry, man, it's okay if you fail. No one's going to, the people who are going to point at you and say, look, he failed. They don't matter here, right? It's you want to strengthen your relationship with Allah. Tawakkul is with Allah alone. How do you build that? You build that by testing yourself against it. You don't build tawakkul by never even getting onto the battlefield and actually testing the sharpness of your sword. That's not how you build tawakkul, right? Tawakkul is built by you do Khalid bin Walid, look for where the enemy is the thickest, right? And charge into there. That's tawakkul.
Yeah, of course. You spoke about honor, and you also spoke about the example that, which is completely true, by the way, that many people, if they had the option and they had the resources, such as the money, they would go and buy a house. Whereas there are some people, right, and it's not many, they would actually go the opposite route, which is going to be a lot, they have to be risk adverse to it. And they might be in a business, or they might want to invest in something. So there is that difference. But the main thing that I want to speak about then is the one person is, thinking more about that inner circle, and that circle is actually their family, and potentially maybe will be their friends. And that's where it stops. And I was reading a productive book, right? And in that book, they said that 85% of people actually fall in that outer circle. However, the circle that's past that, which is the 15% of people, are the people that think about the wider community. Us as Muslims, we of course need to be number one in thinking about not just ourselves, not just about our family, but the wider community. So what's your thoughts on that? How do we build that sort of mindset of not just caring about ourselves?
I feel passionately about this topic because most people that you'll meet will talk about them, wife and kids, family life, and how well they've done in protecting that little inner circle of their life, or building it, or we've done okay, and they're satisfied with a life like that. And I can't relate to it because I'm not satisfied with that. I'm grateful for it. Difference, right? I'm grateful for it, immensely grateful. I know Allah really blessed me with a good family life, right? Which gave me the mental freedom to be able to go and do other things because I don't have to worry about those. I don't have to worry about home.
Yes.
Because we've got that, alhamdulillah, being blessed with that. But for people who are satisfied with it, I have nothing in common.
Yes.
So I was in Qatar recently, and I met up with some of my friends from UK who've moved there, and met some new people who've moved there from the UK. And I thought, interesting, I'd like to know if I should move,
Yes.
What's it called? What's life like, guys? And these guys were active in the UK. They used to do stuff. And I said to them, what do you do in Qatar these days? And they said, nothing. And I said, what do you mean? They go, we work and we go home and enjoy the family. And I said, okay, and then what? And they're like, then that's it. I was like, what do you mean? That's it? How? How is that it? Like, how do you go to Jannah?
Yes.
On that basis, are you striving? We're travelers in this world. We're here temporarily. What are you doing with your time and your efforts? What are your deeds that you're engaged in that are going to take you to Jannah? Like, what happened to that? And they were like, yeah, you're right. But there's not many problems here. And there isn't. If there's a mental health problem in Qatar, what are they going to do? Bring the world's top 5 psychiatrists and set up a program? They can.
Yeah.
So that you don't have problems like we do. We have problems, right? Like we don't have mental health provision in Birmingham, for example. Doesn't exist. Practically, it's a huge waiting lists. There's, no one's being looked after. There are people who are suicidal, who are, not getting the care they need. They just get dumped in an HMO somewhere and they're left to their own devices. There's there's multiple homeless projects run by Muslims in Birmingham, and they're feeding hundreds of people every day. And you meet those people, you don't get homeless without multiple problems, compounding. So you've got multiple mental health things going on. You've got, trauma in people's lives. You've got all sorts of impoverishment issues. No solutions available. but you don't want to do anything about it because you're all right.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm okay. My family's fine. My kids are doing all right. Like, you got to be concerned. Look, I know I'm privileged. So when my kid says, Dad, I think I want to become a, management consultant, I've got 15 people in my phone to ring and get them some work experience. Anywhere, alhamdulillah, anywhere I wanted, I could find an inroad. My daughter says, I want to go into the charity sector. I want to be the CEO of a charity one day. Well, I know about 20 Muslim charity CEOs. I can ring them up and say, my daughter wants some experience, and they won't say no to me. Privilege. But using it for my kid is just nothing. It's just my job, isn't it? As a dad.
Yes.
But using it for my community is what I should really be doing. Like, because the average person in our community doesn't have that contact list. They don't have the reach. So I must build something or institutions or make myself at least approachable to say, if I can open a door for you, let me know. It's not a favor. It's not a favor. I'm not doing you a favor. If you said to me, Zhagum, can you go and ring this person for me and get me, access to that person or for whatever beneficial knowledge you wanted, I'm not doing you a favor. Allah did the favors, right? Who are we?
Yes.
My job is to do my duty and say, okay, I can open that door for you. Let me go and get it done. You don't even have to be nice about it. You don't have to say, please, could you do me a favor and ring this person? You can say, you know him, sort it out. The people I'm close with, that's how we talk to each other. Literally on the drive here was one of my friends rang and he said, I need to do this thing. I'm like, okay. He didn't have to say, oh, I wanted to ask a favor from you. Could you please do? No, he's like, why? Because our goal is the same. We want to spend time together in Jannah.
Yes.
I hope you and I get to do so. But if I'm not helping you get there and you're not helping me get there, then what is this relationship? Is it brotherhood? Well, not really then. It's just, based on benefit. So you benefit me, so therefore I will give you time. But if you don't benefit me, I don't want to know you. That's not what brotherhood is, right? Brotherhood is that I'm going to drag you to Jannah with me, man. I want you to drag me. And how do you drag each other? You drag your whole community with you. So your focus must be your community. When I mentioned this Qatar conversation, alarm bells in my head that were ringing as I was having these chats, because I was considering it. I thought, should I move?
Yeah.
Maybe it would be nice. Maybe I'd like it. I've made all these friends in different countries and I quite like visiting them and it's quite fun. I thought I could live here. But then I thought, no, actually, what about my people? Who are my people? Yeah, and my people are the deprived areas of Birmingham, full of hundreds of thousands of Muslims who are even scared to apply for a minimum wage job, it seems, right? Because they don't aspire to more. They don't realize the world is big. We could be building big things. We could be doing something huge. We're a massive ummah, but we don't feel like it. We feel restricted. They're my people. What have I done for them? If I just run off into the sunset so I can go and sit there on the beach and, say, yeah, I did it, that is not appealing to me at all.
Yes, of course.
What is appealing is taking my people somewhere, and it might not, who am I, what can I do, right? But whatever I can do, let me put my drop in the bucket, at least in my lifetime. Say, here's my contribution, this is what I could do. I'll do that. And then I'll be able to say that, okay, fine, I did what I could with what I had. And if people bigger than me, better than me, are going to be able to do much more, great. But my drop also was in there.
Of course. Yeah.
And that's the spirit I think we need to tackle our community's problems from. Our areas are the dirtiest. Our unemployment levels are the highest. Our educational attainment is the lowest. We've got all of these problems. And so isn't that my responsibility? I'm going to complain about it. We all get together and we're like, yeah, everything's messed up. Community's messed up. Muslims are got this problem and that problem. And how does that help? The question I now ask people is like, yeah, I agree with you. What are you doing about it?
That's so true, by the way. So I used to work so before I went into full-time entrepreneurship, right, and I was working my full-time job, I would go there every single day and I would be doing, it could be different projects, but day to day it would be sort of the same activities, right? And there was a lot of things going on, which I know, I think that's one thing that we spoke about earlier, which is you love to learn about, the worldly affairs in terms of like politically what's going on around the world. And yeah, so it's a big, it was a big shock to me. And when I was thinking about what's happening in Gaza, you can't believe it. Us Muslims in general, right? We're Muslim here, we're Muslim there, we're all the same. There's no difference. You never chose to be, maybe if you're born in the UK, well, we didn't choose to be born in the UK, and we didn't choose to be born in any of these other places. So then how come we've got the essentials such as water, such as shelter, and also the privilege of not being bombed, or, to that level, which doesn't even make sense, right? Or to comprehend for us in the UK. So then it was a case where it's like, where do I fit into the society and into the world itself, right? Like, I was making, good money. There was that progression, there was that career ladder. It was all set out for me, and and studied for a number of years to be in that position. But then it was like, I'm doing a disservice to to like, let's say, you can even say the world itself. But one thing that I love that you said is, you never spoke about the global issues. Actually, you spoke about the problems at home. And I really loved that you actually said that, because I think that's so important, that we should try to do as much as we can, especially with the community that's around us that are struggling, that might not have the right mindset or the right mind frame to, be on the sort of same trajectory that, that you're in at the moment. So do you think when you first started, though, your business journey, did you always have this care and responsibility? Because a lot of viewers will, won't be able to relate to, but the some that do have businesses, you probably have loads of challenges every single day, a lot of issues going on. So as noble as your intention might be, did that ever get like sort of swayed at any chance? Talk to me about that. Yeah.
No, totally. And I think most entrepreneurs are in denial about this, right? What motivated them at the start? And they're all like, yeah, I'm all about purpose, and I'm about like, not really, right? At the start, you're about personal success, about money, about, wealth. And that's what drives you. That's, I think, going to be, I probably hardly met anyone who is not motivated by that at the start. Along the way, though, the knocks that you get make you who you are. And when you fail, like I mentioned, like multiple failures, multiple things happen. I was literally talking to someone on the way here. I was talking to someone who has just been, in a business breakup, right? Like a partnership breakup. And I was saying to him, it's a blessing, because it's going to make you who you are. It feels bad now, but it's going to make you who you are. You need to have some of these. You need, scars to become, a warrior. You don't become a warrior pristine. You don't got a single injury. You've never been hurt, right? You have to be battle tested. And being battle tested is that you have all of those kind of incidents happen to you, and those experiences that make you who you are. So your failures are your strength in the end. And that's what gives you consciousness of like, I need to be thinking about others. Because you think about yourself first, like, one of the kind of, hierarchy of needs talks about safety and security and, food and shelter. And you need these things basic level first. Once you've secured them, you can start looking around. It's like on an airplane when they say the masks might fall. Put your own one on first, and then help the guy next to you. I agree with that, right? Don't just die trying to put it on to the next person. And, what's it called? You won't be able to be any good to anyone. Instead, strengthen yourself. The Muslim should be strong, should be secure. He should be, he should be looking after himself. A sister is attacked on a public bus, and you're there. You should be able to do something, not be able to you can't even stand up because, what's it called? You don't look after yourself. You should look after yourself. In the same way, you should be in business and in the economic world. You should look after yourself. You should be responsible. Don't waste money. Save, invest, help others. Right? You should be able to make yourself strong enough. You meet someone who is in need, you can do something about it.
Of course, yeah.
By your direct hand, you're able to go, right, let me sort this problem out in my locality. I can do something about it. My dad lives in Pakistan. If the drains get blocked in his area, a wide area, like, a few hundred houses, and the drains get blocked, and they have committee meetings saying, we need to do a fundraise and we need to talk to the local council to try and get this blockage removed. My dad is like, builder, get over there, dig a new channel. I want you to fix this, get it done by morning.
Yeah.
Because he's economically strong enough to be able to deal with the problem. And he was telling me, like, he goes, oh, they were having meetings. And I was like, yeah, forget your meetings. I'm just going to deal with the problem.
Resourceful, isn't it?
Because he has strengthened himself.
Yeah,
He's from
exactly.
a village. He went into business. He's strengthened himself to a point where he can, he can't change the world, but, he can change his, local environment. He can have bearing over it. I'll tell you another incident of him that one of our neighbors, he had a driver who was killed in an accident. So he's killed. I happened to be in Pakistan, and so we're like, oh, this is really bad, and loads of people came for afsoos, and he's got young kids, and my dad didn't go to the afsoos, right, and actually like console them. So I was like, shouldn't you also go over and pay your respects? And he said, he's not that well, right? And he goes like, look, I wasn't feeling too well. However, people are going to come and do afsoos. I've set up a pension for his family. That's the thing to do, right? Help in your way. That's what I can do. You might have more eloquence in your sharing their grief, but I've got the ability to let me try and do this bit that I can do. And he's put a pension to this day. It's been years. That pension goes out, right? He's told me I have to carry on with it if after him. But this is practical solutions to problems that stay in your sphere and solve them. You don't want to be, you economically, you strengthen yourself. You're able to actually have impact in the world, and that can be. Don't underestimate yourself. You don't have to be some business person to do this. You can be the person in a STEM career, helping people get into those professional fields. That's massively beneficial. Your average Muslim kid in inner city areas of our cities doesn't know about the careers available. They think that they need to do what they see around them, which is what people working in retail, people doing taxi, people working in do this normal, what's it called, around, not to disrespect them, but at the same time, can they achieve more? That's what we tried for our kids, isn't it? We wanted the kids, next generation, to go further than us.
Of course, yeah.
So you're able to give them access to that. So if you work in a company, you should be the advocate in that company to say, we want to have some work experience placements for inner city kids who normally don't get access because their dad doesn't know the CEO, right? So you can ask for that. No one's going to stop you. If you led on it in your company, then no one's going to discourage it. But we're like, no, I'm okay. I've got the job, so it's fine. I'm just going to go and complain. Ummah's not good. People are, we're too far behind. It's really bad. All right, okay. We agree. What are you going to do about it?
So you're mega results oriented in that sense, right? Instead of thinking about, what's the problem, or there's a problem, and you think about all the bad stuff that comes with it, you think about, okay, yeah, I understand that's the problem, but these are the solutions. You spoke earlier about battle scars and the hard knocks that we do get along the way. So I think there was a survey, and they said within the first 3 years, 70% of businesses, they do die, right? They fail. So what's your thoughts on that? Why do people have businesses and they fail? What would you have, or do other successful businesses have? That's different to them, because I'm sure you fail many times. Why do you stand back up then?
Because I'm not afraid to fail. So this year, I've probably failed a few times already.
Yes.
In projects and in businesses that I envisaged or started, but they don't bother me at all. Like, it's totally fine. I tried, and I failed in the thing. I'm better than the person who just didn't try, was too afraid to try anything. So you limit your losses, right? You don't bet the house on the thing that you're doing, right? I'm not saying like, that's it, be a gambler. Instead, right, you take a calculated risk. It's effort sometimes. So sometimes you're forming this last week, I formed a board to start an app for Muslim volunteering. And so we formed a board. There's going to be someone in charge of grants and investments, someone in charge of operations, someone in charge of the tech, someone in charge of the volunteer management, little team. And we're all going to do it. We're all voluntary at the moment. But I envisage one day we can pay all the people. to do it. So we're going to have our first meeting next week. For all I know, we're going to go to that meeting and fall out and not get on, not like each other. These people don't know each other, right? I'm bringing them all together. And so, but that doesn't, to make me, I'm not afraid of that failure, right? I'll just try and do it. If Allah accepts it from me, that I get to be the guy who solves this Muslim volunteering issue, I'm privileged, right? If they solve it and kick me out of the thing, they don't need me, alhamdulillah, I get the reward of my intention without even having to do the work.
Yes.
Right? So it's still good. If Allah doesn't accept it from us and He doesn't want it to happen, it's not going to work out and we fail, I tried. Right? So why would I be afraid of that? And that's all a business really is, right? Business is trying to serve a need. You're like, somebody needs their tires changed. I'm going to open a tire shop in a place where there's a lot of cars passing by. I'm going to supply them with the service that they need. That's all you're doing. You're providing a service. You got it wrong. There isn't enough passing traffic. You got your costs wrong. There isn't enough demand. Okay, it didn't work, right? So you salvage, like they say, failure isn't fatal.
Of course.
Right? So you want to be able to salvage what you can from that situation. Could be you met your next co-founder because of it. You changed his tires and he thought, you're a good guy. You became friends. Sometimes weird things happen. You tried to do something, you went to somewhere, the thing you went for, you intended didn't happen, but something else happened. And you met someone else and you've, started something with them, or you've helped them with their thing, or you discovered that they exist.
Yeah.
And that there's a whole new field that you didn't know about. You discovered it. So that's called, I suppose, putting yourself out there. You try, you fail, you learn, you move on, you start the next thing, you research something else, you get into a whole new field that you didn't even know about. All good. But where we sometimes, I think, get jaded is we think that if I do this thing, I launch this product and no one buys it, everyone's going to laugh at me. What rings in the back of our heads? That the voice of shaitan in your what's it called, mind, is what? Shaitan can't do anything, right? He can't make you do anything.
Of course.
So he whispers. So the waswasa of shaitan is, well, you might fail. Then your family's going to say, yeah, he was always a failure. And your friends, they're going to go, yeah, what an idiot, right? He thought he was a big shot. Big businessman he thinks he is, right? Or shaitan's doing all that. It's not coming from what's it called, Allah, right? Allah's not telling you to have low self-esteem. Shaitan is. So you've got to be able to fight that and go, okay, you know what? This fear is best addressed how? How do you overcome a fear of heights or spiders?
Skydive or do something.
You pick you pick the thing up, you go and do the thing, you break the fear. Same thing here. You've got to break the fear and the trepidation in something and say, I'm going to go and do it then, right? Watch this, right? I'm not going to, going to let this, get me down. I'll tell you a story that it's famous in Punjabi, right? It's about a cold, right? A cold virus. It says a cold virus, right? Says, to the other cold virus, let's go and attach ourselves to someone and have a good time.
Yeah.
And so one of them, right, he goes and attaches himself, right, to a farmer, and the other one attaches himself to like the the chief of the village, the Chaudhry.
Yeah.
And so they meet up after a week and go, how'd it go? Right? And the one who went to the Chaudhry goes, I had a great time. He immediately went and lay in his bed, right? And we were relaxing. People are feeding us grapes. They're bringing us tea and yaknis and all sorts of, foods and stuff. And I just had a good time, right? The whole week. How was your week? And the one who went to the farmer, he goes, I had a horrible week. He goes, I went, got attached myself to the farmer. The farmer went to the field and went, right, this cold, I'm going to get it off my back.
Yeah.
And he just morning to night with his shovel just worked away, right? Sweated it out. And I was dying in the heat every day. And this guy just wouldn't stop, right? Had a horrible week. And so when they go, what should we do? And the one that was attached to the village chief, he goes, you come and get attached to this guy as well, right? It's that thing of taking a stand and facing on your fears, right? You're going to attach to me. This cold is going to hit me. I refuse to let you knock me down. take that approach to what's it called, these challenges in life, right? You're like, okay, I've failed in the thing I was going to try and do. Now what? Pivot. I could change this business into something else. Let me try something else with someone else. One of the things I think that massive missed opportunity that I wish more Muslims are doing is go to people who are successful and say, you obviously can't do all the stuff that's on your desk, all the opportunities on your desk, you can't handle them. Even at my little level, I can't handle all the opportunities that come to me because I'm busy, I'm occupied.
Yeah.
So what happens to them? I'll park them up and say, oh yeah, if I had time, I would, right? But if you said to me, if you had time, what would you do? I can talk for an hour about all the things I could do if I had the time.
Of course, yeah.
So why not go to those people and say, if you can't do them, let me. Partner with me. Let me do it. I'm good at this thing, right? Or I've got these skills. Can you utilize them in some way? Guarantee you, right? People will not say no to that. Because they can't do them. They can't do them themselves. They haven't got time. But if you stepped up and said, I'm young, I'm 27 years old, I've got knowledge and expertise in chemical engineering. Have you got anything that you think I should look at? And they would have stuff. Guaranteed they would have stuff because they can't do it all. So go to those people in our community that are doing quite well and say, let's join forces. You take 25% equity in the project. Let me do the work. I'll do it. And they will be able to immediately. Why have they got those opportunities? Because they can open doors. They might have an audience, for example. So somebody who's got 1 million followers on Instagram, guaranteed that guy has loads of opportunities coming to him that he can't do.
Yeah.
If you said to him, let me look at something in this space, he's got the audience that he would now be, Stephen Bartlett's a good example of that. He's got audience. So when he invests into a company, what's he really giving them? He probably gets a massive discount on the investment because he can put it on, Diary of a CEO, or he can put it onto his and promote the thing. He does all the time, right? There's always ads in everything that he does. But that's the whole point, is that's what makes him valuable. We've got people like that in our community. I can think of so many people that have got audience of millions and zero business. Their business is the dawah or, the project that they do, the podcast or whatever it is. Why not attach ourselves to them and say, I'd like to work with you. You tell me what you think you should do, or I've got an idea. Let's partner. We don't partner enough. We're scared of partnerships. Why? Because our dad had a partnership and dad was like, yeah, never do this. Right? Muslims, man, they'll always do you over. They've been our intergenerational trauma here, is that they all had problems with their brothers, they all had problems with their cousins, and they had problems with their friends. And we thought, yeah, that's it. I don't want to do any partnerships. But really, what's the real issue is that we don't follow the sunnah. The sunnah is to write things down. So when you start a partnership with someone, write down how it's going to work, what your job's going to be, what my job's going to be, what our roles will be. We write this down and declare it from the start. And even we should also declare in that agreement how we will end it if we don't want to do it anymore.
Of course.
What you'll get, what I'll get, and who will arbitrate. Write that down. Is that hard to do at the start? But no one does it. Literally, I can't think of hardly any partnerships, right, that start in the sunnah way. Write it down.
Writing a contract is so important, isn't it?
But we don't do it.
So you work quite a bit. I'm sure you've got it a lot where it's like, I think you're focused too much on work. You should switch off, or you should focus more on the deen. But one thing that I actually got from an elder, right, and we were all sitting together, which was, and he wasn't specifically saying it to me, but in just general, it was, don't work too hard. Just do your 9 to 5, or, make your money basically. And then that's basically, in a nutshell, like, that's enough. So even if it pays the bill, that's completely fine. And that's all you should, push towards. Don't strive too much, too hard to do more. That is mental. And then I had someone else that was sitting in the group there, who's actually, he's got a brother-in-law who wants to do the same thing that Alibaba is doing with China, but his brother is trying to do it with Pakistan. So that's what he wanted to do. That's the vision that he's got. And then back in the days, he bought all the domains for very, very cheap. And he used to build gaming websites. So again, that was his brother-in-law. So a lot of the knowledge and experiences that he's got was like, wait, my brother-in-law, he's so resourceful that there's so many people that he's putting in jobs. He's giving them so many opportunities, the impacts that he's making. But the only reason for that is because he's a visionary, right? He's got these dreams that he wants to achieve. If he was not like that and he was the total opposite, all of these things and these ecosystem that he built up, right, that it would have been missed and so many lives would have been affected. So, what's your thoughts on that? Because for me personally, I'm like, be an excellent in, and excel in everything as much as you can. Put all, go all in basically. Yeah, is that a balance there that you'd say?
Excellence is a great topic because our deen demands it from us. It demands ihsan in what we do. And we've lost that connection. And if you look at our history, I took the kids to Istanbul last month to show them, the architecture and the history of when we had power as Muslims. We actually had, we were someone. Because you forget that in the West often, right? You think we're just the bajare, poor immigrants trying to make scrape a living, right? You end up with that kind of mindset. You take them to a place like Istanbul and you think, look at what we were building in the
Architecture,
1500s,
the masjids.
1600s, right? These places standing the test of time. They're a marvel to look at even today. But that is ihsan. They didn't need to do that. They could have built a room, that would have been a masjid. Why'd you have to make it beautiful? Because ihsan demands that you do something to the best of your ability and you aim for perfection, even though you'll never achieve perfection. You can't achieve perfection, only Allah's perfect. You can't achieve it, but you aim for it. And so you strive to achieve the best possible outcome, right, from what you strive to do. That's ihsan. Now, we built all these things, and in our history, you had people like Al-Biruni doing research into, topics like, the circumference of the earth, right, was being measured by, the distance of 1 degree from sunlight. This was done in Jhelum in Pakistan, right? Many people don't realize, right? He went there to do it.
Amazing, yeah.
Right? And they were doing this stuff. Why? Because what was he going to do with it? Right? But the thing is that they aimed for a high level of achievement in what they did. Prophet ﷺ and the Sahaba didn't do that. They didn't just go, I give up on the dunya, I don't care. Right? They tried to do as much as they could. The people who were in trade did trade in such a beautiful way that the most populous Muslim country, Indonesia, became Muslim from trade. I didn't know this, right, till yesterday. Someone was telling me that it was Yemeni traders, right, that were going to this part of the world, trading with them.
Was that Silk Road?
And by sea.
Okay.
So they were going by sea from Yemen to Indonesia and trading with them, and they saw the locals saw the way they were, and they wanted to be like them, and so slowly they started to accept Islam, and now it's the most populous Muslim country.
Yes.
And you imagine like how that resonated with them. Like when you meet Malaysians and Indonesians, they're quite nice. They're like very mild-mannered and like quite, you see them on Hajj and stuff, and you think, these are quite interesting, although they're a bit lethal as a group. But individually, right, very nice and polite, and that it would be appealing to them to meet these nice people from Yemen who were traders and had nice ikhlaq to them. That was the way that their hearts were affected. So ihsan in what you do, becoming good at what you do, you should be aiming for. We should be aiming to become the best possible at any field we enter. We should be at the top of it, not at the mediocre level of it. And, I just don't care as long as I can quickly get home and then carry on with my life, and I can get on the prayer mat. And that's the only form of ibadah. Ibadah is in everything you do if you connect Allah to it. It's not just in your acts of compulsory worship or supererogatory prayers, right? It's not that's not just your only way that you worship Allah. You worship Allah in every breath and action when you've connected Allah to it.
Yes.
And said, I do this because right? Today's the day of Arafah, right? We're here having this chat. For me, I'm here out of a sense of worship. I need to serve my Creator by spreading some good word in some way, inshallah, hopefully, to someone it benefits. I could very happily be at home, sitting on my prayer mat, making dua. I'd like to, but this is the same thing. It's the same thing, right? I might inspire someone to do something good, and I'll get the reward of it,
Yeah.
and without even having done it myself. And so for me, that motivation of like trying to, inspire our ummah and help them in any way we can is ibadah. Ihsan requires that we do everything to the best of our ability, take it to the nth degree. But we've missed that and become complacent and said, you ask me to do something. I was saying this to one of my team members the other day. I said, have you ever received an email from me with a spelling mistake? And he said, no. I said, and how many do you think I send a day? He said, I don't know, hundreds. I said, yeah, it is hundreds. I send hundreds of emails a day. I don't have a spelling mistake in them. Why? Because it's from me. I'm sending it to you. You, my team member, what are you going to do if I have a spelling mistake in there? You're not going to tell me off, are you?
No.
But it's from me, though. I'm sending this to you. My self-respect demands, my pursuit of ihsan demands that I do this thing well. I communicate to you well. And I'm not going to have spelling mistakes in there. I don't accept that. I will take the time. Sometimes I'm on a treadmill sending an email and I'm still making sure there's no spelling mistakes. I'll recheck it because I want it to do it well, because it's from me. I'm engaged in communication with another person. I'm going to try and make it to the best of my ability. We need to adopt that in everything we do. If I'm producing this mic or this top, I want it to be the best I can possibly produce, so that you look at it as the person receiving it and it's faultless. You try and make it as faultless as possible. Not the minimum level of I can just throw this at you and you'll accept it because you're okay, it's better than nothing. Why? You won't come back to me, will you?
No.
You won't buy from me again. But if I do a really good job of giving you this product, you'll tell 100 people. I don't have to do any marketing anymore. I can just sit there making my product, perfecting my craft, and you're sending me my customers. Like sometimes when you receive a good product and you can't wait to tell people about it.
Yes.
This thing's amazing. Have you tried this? And imagine if your customers do that. Why would they do that? If you had ihsan, you would think about the packaging. Another thing happened a few days ago. There's a salad came with our food delivery from a Turkish place. And I opened this box and there's a beautiful salad in there. Perfectly cut. Even each onion's the same sized, cut. It's got beetroot and it's got, carrots and it's got all these different things and it's got fatouche, and it's beautifully presented in a really nice box. And I thought, there's salad. I want to eat it. You order from the average Pakistani restaurant. The salad looks like it's 5 days old, right? It's all crumpled up and shriveled, right? And it looks like someone just threw it together, just to get it off the back. I need to give them a salad, so they throw something in, throw some vegetables into this thing, right?
Yeah.
But couldn't they make their salad in a way that would be appealing? They could, but they don't carry this concept of this is my work. I'm going to do it with ihsan, and that therefore by doing that make it into worship. You now are engaged in ibadah, in doing your work in a beautiful way. You're writing the inscriptions on a masjid that are going to be there for hundreds of years. Wouldn't that be a work of ihsan? You try and do your best possible work. You do it in an amazing way. I'm trying to build a system to train people in Pakistan in tech skills. I'm trying to do that, but I must approach it with ihsan, right? I want it to be so good that these people gain these tech skills and have great jobs and live their lives, in a much better way with, really high earnings. So I'll stay up late working on it every day because I want it to be really good. Or I could do the minimum and say, well, I gave them some tech skills. Here's a Google link. I could.
Yeah.
No one's going to say to me, why did you do that? But I want it to be my source of reward from my creator. My creator is perfect. I must aim. I'm ashamed to present something of my deeds to him that isn't even trying to be the best I could do. I'm ashamed to do that.
Yes. I used to work in Newcastle, and this was like, I think 2, 3 years ago. So I was a junior process engineer there, but so I was so new to everything, being an engineer. And there was a manufacturing excellence manager who took me under his wing, and he was a non-Muslim, right? And he was a fantastic engineer, like amazing, like the work that he did. And I had my logo so on the jumper uniform, and underneath that was my name. And he pointed at that and he said to me, that says your name on there. That's your standard. It's up to you. Where does Rizwan Makta's standard, where is it? And that's what he said. Do you want it here or do you want it there? You carry your uniform, which says your name on there. Where do you want your standard to be? And honestly, that stuck with me forever. Honestly, like since the last few years, that has stuck with me because it's true. And I'm sure you've seen this a lot, but you'll be encountering with colleagues or just with anyone really in general. And they might not do a work to the best of their ability, and someone else will say, "Why are you putting in Why are you putting in more effort when they're not doing so?" But it doesn't matter because that's their standard, whoever that may be. That's not my standard. It's irrelevant to me how bad anyone else is performing. But I think what you said was your father. He was quite resourceful. Did the mindset of that come from your father? Was he a similar man to that? How did it come about?
You discover your own path along the journey, and it's hard to pinpoint it because everything contributes to that, right? When did you become a swimmer? What was the moment that you could swim?
You wouldn't know.
Not quite sure. Was it when you first got in the water? Was it when you first learned to stroke? When you suddenly when did it all flow for you? You became a swimmer in the end. You could swim, but you're not quite sure exactly what the transition period, exactly what the moment was. So it's similar in this. It's an ongoing process. Different things impact you. Sometimes trauma impacts you. You have bad things happen to you, and that wakes you up. Sometimes good things wake you up. You had good fortune and it woke you up. You meet good people, it wakes you up. You heard something from someone, all contributes. So it's not so easy to pinpoint it. Like mentors are vital. That engineer who taught you this concept, you've remembered it. You're sharing it with the world as we talk about it because it impacted you. Who did you impact? You often don't know. He doesn't know he impacted you probably, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's hard for him to have that feedback loop. But you've got to spread good, and you should be engaged in spreading the good. That's what we are carriers of a message. The message Allah gave the Prophet ﷺ and given to us is a responsibility. It's a message. The message isn't just as simple as go and read these books and practice. It's more detailed than that.
Yes.
It's a way of life. So how do you pass a way of life on to somebody? You have to live it. If you don't embody it, then it's not a way of life for you. It's just some concepts, some ideas that you read once. They're not a way of life. Way of life means you live it, you embody it. If we open you up, right? You'll bleed that color, right? Is your real who you are.
Yes.
Are we that as an ummah? That means then the simplest thing. One of my friends, is a revert, and we were in a McDonald's before the boycott, I'll add, right? But we were in McDonald's 15, 20 years ago. And we were in a McDonald's and we finished eating food, and I got up to leave. And he said, what's it called? One sec. I'm just started gathering all the things and putting them in the tray. I said, leave it, man. That's their job. They can. He goes, I don't want them to look at us and say Muslims aren't clean. And he taught me that.
Yes. And since then,
anytime I'm in my car, I'll never throw rubbish out of the window, right? I see people I saw someone recently, earlier this morning throwing something out of the window, and I thought, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Keep it in your car.
Yeah.
When you get home, put it in the bin. Keep your areas clean. Someone sees that. I'll tell you a story of There was someone at my workplace that I worked on for a long time to try to, like, what's it called, bring him to Islam. And we ended up on a flight together, right? Going to China, 12-hour flight. And I don't usually sleep on planes. And so we're on this 12-hour flight. I thought, right, this is my chance. Me and him, I'm going to work on this guy today, right? And I answered all his questions and I debated everything with him. And I had him. Right? On the intellectual points, I had him. And he goes, I agree with everything you're saying. You're right. But I don't want to become Muslim. I said, why not? He goes, have you seen the toilets at work? And I went, because most of the people at our work are Muslim. And in the factory where he was like, seen the toilets? I.e., our lack of cleanliness,
Personal hygiene, yeah.
made him think, I don't want to be like these people. Can you imagine that? When we came back, people were like, oh, that guy, he's quite close to Islam, isn't he? And I said, here's what he said. And, we should at least be giving this impression of what our deen teaches us. Don't embody it. If we lie, how can we invite people to Islam?
Yeah.
If you see me lying and you see me, not embodying the teachings of, our Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, you don't see me doing that. How can I advocate for it? How can I say, yeah, you know what, we should be becoming Muslim, we should be following Islam, yeah, great. Because you're secular then. You're secular, you've separated deen and dunya. This is like something evil. You don't separate deen and dunya.
Yes.
Deen came to regulate the dunya. That's the point of the deen, right? So you apply the deen to your life. You don't say, I'm going to take out haram mortgages and loans and I'm going to cheat in business and I'm going to, do all of these things and lie and, fool people and do fraud and do all of these things. On Eid day, I'm in the front row, and on Jummah, I'm always there, and I'm there with my thobe, at every opportunity. That's called being secular.
Yes.
Right? You don't embody the deen. Deen needs to be seen in your actions. If I do business with you, I should leave inspired. That I was doing a negotiation recently, and somebody offered me more money than asked. For the sake of Allah, I love them. I don't want them to buy something for more than it's worth.
Yeah.
Even though it gives me a bit more money. And it would be nice. It would have been nice. I could have treated myself to a holiday or something with the extra money. But it's all right. I love them more than a holiday, easily. Right? It's totally fine. I'd rather they had a good price for that thing that I thought it was more fair. I'd rather they paid that and that we had a good relationship and we helped each other the rest of our lives and we spoke well of each other. This is okay to do because that's called deen and dunya. You take them together. You don't separate them.
So you spoke about deen and dunya is a mix, right? In a sense where it's together, right? So every single thing that you do should be an act of ibadah, right? It should be an act of worship. And it's not easy to also be in that mind frame or that mindset of, of thinking in that sort of way. Because I think we get quite, a lot of us will get carried away and we'll be very outcome oriented, right? So we'd be thinking, and we're not, the effort, when we don't think much about the effort. So a lot of the times whenever we're doing something, it's more about, I'm doing this because of the money, because I'm paying the bills, because it's gonna, for the people that got mortgages, for the mortgages. And that's why they're doing it. You see what I mean? But then if you think of it as an act of ibadah or act of worship, it completely will change the outlook of the reason why we're doing it and all the qualities that you actually addressed, that we spoke about, being excellent, being trustworthy, being transparent, and, those qualities would actually emphasize and will actually bring into every sort of step that we're taking. And as a result, I think we'll raise our standard and be better people. Because at the moment right now, he's not saving any money. What advice would you give to someone that's young, that's, that wants to do more, but is doing an honest job, doing a very, fantastic job, but, the salary or the package there compared to his personal expenses, he's not saving anything after that. What would you do if you were in that position?
I think I'm probably a bad example. I'm not a saver. I never had savings. My wife's better at this. So she'll, keep us alive because, she'll end up saving something.
By the way, it's like I'm looking at myself in the
Yeah,
mirror.
yeah. So I mean, so that's what Allah, Allah creates the right partner for you, right? Is that they save you from the thing,
Yes.
that's a weakness for you. I'll always strive to do something more.
Yes.
So I'll literally just start something else. I'll have another go. I'll invest in someone. I'll start something else. I'll give it away. I can't sit on any amount, even a small amount. I can't sit on it. I'm so bad that, I literally, it's to my own detriment. I run out of money regularly because I'll just do things with it. I view that it's passes through my hands. That when we say ask Allah for to give you the dunya in your hand, not in your heart.
Yes.
And I feel like that. I feel no love for material wealth. It's not mine. I feel like I'm a renter, right? It's just I've got it for a while, and then it's going to go back to its real owner. And Allah's the real owner of everything. I'm a custodian for a bit. Let me do something good with it. What can I do? Maybe I can pass it on to someone. Maybe I can help someone. Maybe I can start something else that will grow it and compound it in some way. Let me apply it. So I think like that. And I have an abundance mindset, alhamdulillah, right? Which impacts everything I think of. Like I'm happy to give opportunities away to people and say, you do it. I don't mind. If you want to do what I do it. I'll show you how to do it. It's like, it's not for me. Don't feel like, oh, you'll take something from me. I'm lucky to have that, I suppose. That, I'm very abundant in that mindset. But for people who struggle in what they're doing today, two angles. One could be you need to be content with what Allah's given you. That's one aspect. Because there's no end to this. I've tried it. I've tried this, right? Trying to get to this level where I'll finally say enough. I never got there. I just kept going and going and going. And I met bigger and bigger people who were worse than me. They had millions, but they were unsatisfied. I've met people who've got billions who are like still unsatisfied. They want more yet. They need to be a multi-billionaire to be, satisfied, they think. So there's no end to that part. So you need to be satisfied. And I've met the happiest people I've met are the ones who are content with little. They are like, if you ask them, do you want anything else? Do you need anything? I asked my family driver in Pakistan, I said to him, do you need anything? With the intention, what could I help him with? Maybe I can contribute something, buy him something, or buy him, build him a house, or I don't know what. He said, alhamdulillah, Allah's given me everything. I don't need anything. And I thought, yeah, you're rich. You're richer than me because you're content. And I'm striving away, thinking that I want a bit more yet. I need to achieve more yet. He's content with what Allah's given him and has built his lifestyle around that. He rides a bicycle to our house in the morning so that he can drive the car for us all day.
Yes.
And then takes the bicycle back. And his aspiration is not, I need a motorcycle or a car of my own or something. His aspiration isn't that. He's like, alhamdulillah, I've got a bike. I've got two legs that work. I can cycle. He's probably fitter than us, right? He's actually fit, right? Where, we don't get that fitness in cycling distances, right? He does that every day. He's taken it in such a positive way. That's contentment. You meet someone else who's content. He does charity work. One of my heroes in Birmingham is someone who does charity work day and night. He's everywhere. Any project you pick up in Birmingham, his name's in it. And he doesn't tell you. You just discover that he's part of it and think, wow, this as well. You're in everything. And he lives a simple life. And I said to him, and he used to be a big business person, right? And he's given that up. And he's like, I don't need that. And I said to him, what's your advice? And he goes, don't chase this thing. You'll never get it. Chase your deeds, before Allah. Chase that. And I still haven't got there. I can't get to his level. Not yet. I don't seem to have achieved it yet. I'm aiming for it.
Yeah.
But that's why I look up to him. I'm like, I want to be you, man. I want to be like this content, and I don't mean he's not poor. He lives a good life. He's got he's got a normal house, family life. He's got a car. It's not a Ferrari. He's all right, but he's content. And most of us who are driven people, driven individuals, your friend, probably someone who strives for more, but they then hustle culture says that more, keep going, keep trying to achieve more, and the way we need to be thinking about this is what he needs is barakah in his life, in what he's got, because the barakah, like I'll give you an example of this, right? That my wife once said, "Give me £500." Yeah, and it's that early married life. She said, "Give me £500," and she set up a whole house in that. The kitchen, the crockery, which we still have from that original. But she was somebody who would stretch out that budget to make our family life a home, make our home a house a home with that money. And she stretched it. She didn't say, "Oh, more." She didn't say, "This isn't enough." She didn't say, "This, we'll change it as soon as we can afford it, we'll get better." No, she was able to stretch that out and make it work. So now, in the same way, someone else can be given 50,000 and it's not enough, right? But what's the enjoyment of it? The enjoyment is in how you live and how you utilize what Allah's blessed you with. So I think we need to reach this point of like contentment needs to be there. The drive, though, I can talk about, is that I'm driven, but my drive is not for me. I want more. That's not my drive. My drive is I don't want to be questioned on my God-given abilities and God-given resources that I didn't use them.
Yeah.
I don't want to be wasteful. When Allah questions me and says, "I gave you machines and factories and resources and people, and I gave you the ability to talk, and I gave you the ability to get on with people. I gave you all of these things, the education you got, the parents, the stable home, the security that you live in. You're not in Gaza, you're not in those situations. What have you done? Oh, I bought a nice car." What am I supposed to say? Like, I feel for me that's the driver. I've got to be like, how do I maximize the impact of what I do? Not for my personal gain, but so that I can collect these deeds that will hopefully, inshallah, be enough that Allah forgives me. Because it's not going to be my worship. I can't memorize the Quran like others can. I can't do the worships, the salah that they do, the beautiful way people can, express their love for Allah. I can't match that. I'm not good enough, right? But what I can do is strive with what I've got. I understand business. I have a passion for it. I need to use that as my vehicle. That's what I should be doing. We should, and your friend should be thinking in terms of what skills and resources he's got. He's a donor. He's a donor manager, right? Imagine the reward. I'm jealous, right? He's engaged in work that's direct, connected, right, to doing good in the world. So why give that up? From a barakah point of view, he needs barakah in his life, in his money, in his wealth. Sometimes I've had a lot and it didn't have any barakah in it.
Yeah.
And sometimes I've had little, but it had barakah. To the point where sometimes, right now, there's an envelope in my bag that I carry around, right? And the envelope has got £200 in it, I think. I'm not sure, I haven't counted it. It's been there for like about a month now.
It's still going.
It's still going. I've been spending from it. It was more, but I've been spending from it. It's got barakah, man. It won't finish. It will now, probably because Eid tomorrow, right? But
And we spoke about
it. But it had barakah.
Yes.
I've had much more. I had no barakah. It just flew through. I don't know where it went.
Yeah.
And so I think that you should pray for barakah in what you do and that your actions are accepted, rather than this thing of I need to earn more, side hustles, and I'm all for that. I'm all about that. I understand it. But I have to question, is it the right thing to do? Because it could be your work is the thing that is the blessing. Your rizq isn't always material, right? It's when you walk home after a long day at work and your wife smiles at you
Yeah.
and is happy to see you, can you value that?
No.
how do you value it? Like, how do you compare that to someone who walks into a mansion with a half a mile long driveway, and it's got like, sports cars parked all over the driveway, and he pulls in and, the butler opens the door, but his wife and kids are not happy to see him. Who's the rich man?
There's so many guys I'm sure you'd meet that are big, that look good, and you look at them, you're like, you're in shape, you've been training for many years, and they're like, oh, I'm not happy with my body, and you'd be like, that is mental, you know what I mean? And by the way, I've fallen prey to that too, where I'd look at myself, I'm like, I'm too fat, but then other people would look at me, they'd be like, no, you're not, and I feel like, do you think it's managing expectations that we'll have a lot of high expectations for ourselves, which could be a good thing, but then also at the same time is detrimental, right? Because if you've got too high expectations, you're constantly chasing, trying to be better, but you're not content with it. And so it's that balance, isn't it? Where it's good to chase, it's good to drive, but at the same time, it's be content with everything that you've got. Yeah. My dad actually, recently, I made a couple of sales, right? This was during the Ramadan period. Spoke to my dad, and I told my dad that, I got a couple of sales, and he's like, oh, really? So I said, yeah. And he said, oh, it's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy, he's bestowed on you. And in my head, I was like, oh, it's Google Ads, it's this. No. Yeah. So I'm thinking about all the efforts that I put in, all the marketing that I've done to drive those sales. And then, but then my dad, what he said was so powerful. And then, obviously I kept on reflecting back. And I was like, nothing comes from us. Of course, yeah, yes, there was this vehicle in place that, because, through that, yes, there was some sales and that. But regardless, I've spent actually thousands of pounds in ads and it's made no money. So, regardless of whatever vehicle you use, it could be on Amazon, it could be on TikTok Shop, it could be the best influencer that you've given money to basically put your product out. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not, given that mercy for us to make that money, it's not going to happen.
But you plant your seed.
Yes.
Even if it's the day of Qiyamah and you've got a seed in your hand, you plant it, right? Why? Like, your hope in Allah and His mercy and in His, bounty should be firm. You don't just, don't procrastinate and think that, like, you don't give up. The believer needs to be hopeful of his Creator, that Allah will take care of me. He'll help me through this thing, this difficulty, this problem. Like we talked about Gaza and how, how inspiring it is, though. As painful as it is, how inspiring it is that these people have Alhamdulillah on their lips. And you see them and you think, how?
Yeah, grateful for what, in that sense. Yeah.
How are you, feeling like that? And I'm complaining.
Yes.
Oh man, it's too tough. Like we start most conversations like this. How's it going? Oh, it's really hard, man. Tired. You're tired. You got these people being bombed for 2 years now, right? Being bombed constantly, daily, displaced, starved, their family members killed. They say Alhamdulillah, and you have the audacity to say, I'm tired. And I'm tired of what? What are you tired from? Like, you got to have context here of like, that's our ummah. They're going to be also in the running for who's going to go Jannah, right?
Yes.
Where are we going to be? Can't see, right? How we'd be worthy, right? It's Allah's mercy that will get us there. But what's our worthiness here, right? Can we even have a shot? Probably not, right? In the way we're going. So I think that we need to hold that in context and say, look, we're going to be, striving, doing our best in all that we do. We've got to be pushing ourselves, right? You've got to have that ability to really, strive for Allah's pleasure in everything that you're doing. Have that drive. Don't give up hope that, there's no point to anything. Yes, your sales and your success came from Allah. Of course they did. But you had to put the effort.
Yes.
You did have to put the ads in. You did have to put the marketing copy in.
It's tying your camel, isn't it?
You have to. And tying your camel. There's tying your camel and there's double knotting it and triple knotting it and, keep knotting it till the rope runs out. Right? There is that too, right? You get so bogged down in tying your camel that you lose sight of it's Allah who's going to give you, what He's going to. So there is that aspect too. But there's no harm in really being putting your best effort into something. You know, in anything that you do, turn it into a worship by giving it your best shot. As I was on my way here, I said to my wife and son who are at home, I said, "Oh, I'm going on a podcast,"
Yeah, I do this.
and they said, "What are you going to talk about?"
Yeah,
And I think you need those people in your life, right, that keep you humble,
in check it.
right? Because and it's good, right? That like we have that atmosphere of like, you know, we what's it called? We pull each other's leg
Yeah.
all the time on this kind of stuff. Keep each other grounded. You know, we shouldn't be just trying to like, you know, what's it called? Make each other spin into the clouds, right? With you must be something great. Your ego doesn't need feeding. It's already too well fed. You need to starve your ego a bit. How do you starve it? You need people who are honest with you. If you don't have friends in your life that are gonna just let you know that, you know, you've got bad trait or you look like you're developing something bad, then you haven't got friends.
Yes.
Real friends are the ones who hurt your feelings now and then. Like they let you know, right? You're afraid. You should be ashamed to do something bad or say something, you know, bad in their presence. That's a good friend.
Yeah.
For me, that's a person who, when I'm around them, I'm better. That's a friend. The ones who just agree with me, that's not a friend. That's just an acquaintance, right? That's just someone who just maybe wants something from you or whatever, right? Your friends are the ones who go, I was unimpressed by you. You did this thing. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I thought you let yourself down there. He knows you're not going to like him saying it, but he says it anyway. You need those people.
I really like the first portion. The way that I've actually tried to structure it, right, is the first portion. I wanted the mindset thing. And, you know, of course, you built the businesses and you're still striving to build new businesses and new projects to get into. But it's the personal development that you've got inside yourself that, you know, especially me and also, you know, the viewers hopefully will be able to get, you know, a lot of learnings from that. But you know, now I want to talk about, I've got the Mumkin brand, there's new products that I'm launching. So just in general, if someone's got a product to launch coming up and they've got a month for it, what strategies would you put in place? Because I think one of the brands that you've got, what's it called? It's
Zonky.
Zonky.
Yeah.
So in the first season, you actually were fully sold out. Is that correct? So what was the successes behind that for a successful product launch?
I think look, I can tell you, like, look, from business experience, people who fall in love with a problem are the ones who build the best products. They look at the holistic market and say, I'm going to solve the problem here. So let me be the solution. People flock to those people immediately, right? They're like, that person has built the solution to this problem. Let me buy it from him. And then there's people who are me too. Loads of people are selling, plants. I'm going to sell some plants too. What if you're the one who creates the nicest plants, really nurture them? You have the nicest pots to those plants. Your plants are like, come with a guide, a QR code, you scan it, tells you how to look after it.
Yes.
It's a part of a community where I can join after buying your plant, and tells me if the leaves are going brown, what to do, right? Exactly what might be the problem. And the community comes in and helps me answer those questions. You invite me to horticultural events that you host. You have a podcast about plants that I can follow. You are in love with the problem of supplying that product, right? You are the one who's going to take the majority of the business. And you're going to have fun doing it on top. And you'll have the best of the customers, not the ones who are looking for the cheapest price all the time. Not those ones. The ones who really actually care about that thing.
Yes.
You'll have those customers. So why not put yourself in that position? You're going to do the work anyway. I always think of this like, you're going to come to work every day, get in your car, drive to work, go and spend the whole day in the office. You're going to do that anyway. Why not do that with a massive smile on your face, having fun doing what you're doing? And if you haven't found that thing, maybe you're doing the wrong thing. Change. Life's too short to spend it miserable. Go and find the thing that makes you happy. Everyone knows what it is if you question them on it. And what's the thing you're really passionate about? One of the questions I like to ask, I do a lot of networking events and stuff. One of the questions I like to ask is, what do you do? Everybody asks that. And the thing that you should then do is say, and what else do you do? and then they tell you something a bit more like they're really passionate
That's
about
true, yeah.
the real thing. Yeah, the day job is the first answer. Second one is actually I run a tuition what's it called center for Muslim kids. Someone the other day said to me they run a madrasa for special needs kids. I was like, wow, that's what I want to talk about.
Yes.
I don't want to talk about your day job as a programmer. I don't care. Right?
I bet you could say so many different things, by the way. If someone asks you, what do you do? Do you ever think about, you know what, let me say this today, I'll say this tomorrow?
I do.
Do you do that quite a bit?
Yeah, I tailor it to the person.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. So I say, look, this person's in this space. This is the thing I do that's maybe relevant to them.
Okay, yes.
So I'll talk about that,
Yes.
and then not mention the other things, because it could be tech, it could be AI, it could be healthcare, it could be I've got different things that I do. So I'll tailor it to that person, right? Or I just kind of deflect and say, oh, I run quite a few different types of businesses. What do you do?
Yeah.
Because I should be more interested in the other person, then discover what they do, and I can then weave in maybe how I could help them in some way. But then, like, back to this thing of like, you ask them what else they do, and then to say when someone's really interesting is to say, and what else do you do? And then you get the like, well, actually, right, my real passion is Islamic medicine.
Yes.
And you're like, really, so's mine. That's my retirement plan. I'm going to write a book on it. Right? And we're now going to be friends. Right? That's I think the way you want to go deeper with people and discover what they're really about. So you get to do that when you have discussions with people, and actually discover more about them. You should be exploring those things with them, and then you discover great things.
Of course, yeah. So actually, to summarize that then regarding that question, it was the product, get that right, and no matter what, people are going to come to it, right? I've seen a lot of your brands actually, like in terms of the websites and in terms of the way you've done the branding. And what I got from it was, you're Zhagum, you're a separate person to a lot of the brands that you do. And that was quite interesting because there's a lot of personal branding that's going on at the moment. But then you've got your brands, yeah? And if people, especially your customers, if they see you and your personal views or the person that you are, and and then now they're your customers, they'd be like, oh, well, I fall more to the left or to the right. They've got their different opinions, right? So it was quite interesting that you're able to, segment it away, right, and put that there, and you're here. And what's your thoughts about that? Because if you want to be the best, which is your vision, right? So in the industry, so soft bedded, right, furnishing, right, you want to be number one in that. It would be wrong then for you to be like, I just want to cater for Muslims then, and I want to be the best for just Muslims. I want to be the best, and that's for everyone. How did that come about then? Like knowing your target market and who you want to cater for?
That's what I mean about it's a voyage of discovery here, of finding what you're passionate about. And for me, soft furnishings is what I do, is not what I'm passionate about. But I did it, thought I was passionate about it. And then over time, I've realized that there's actually other things I'm really passionate about. And so I'm transitioning over to those and thinking, okay, how do I do them? But do I let go of what I did before? Or use it as an engine? People will open doors for me and talk to me because of my background in what I've built in business. And that helps me. So it's my engine that helps me, do the actual things I really want to do. So I get invited to so many things, right? I get to be on panels and I get to be at, events and meet new people because I've got this background of, e-commerce is like, something that I did. So that contributes. I can bring that into the discussion. I can help people with that. So I keep it. That's why I keep it, is because it helps me with the other things I do. And even income-wise, that's my basic income comes from that. So I don't have to worry about money when I'm doing some other project. When I'm starting another thing, I can make losses for years. I'm like, it's fine. I don't live off them. So I can afford to now, take bigger risks, or I can afford to do something purely for the purpose of it. And the e-commerce businesses allow me to do that. So I keep them. And I've sold many, but I keep the ones I've got right now for that reason. It's not my true passion, hence I'm not founder-led. Whereas I meet businesses that are founder-led, like it's the face of the brand is the person running it. I like that. I think that's nice. I'd like that in the future. I hope I get to do it. Where you get to be very much like all about that one thing. What that says to me is this person has adopted that problem and said, I'm the guy.
Right.
I think that's good. I think that's, you think of that person, actually, most of us can do it. If you think of what's it called, halal supplements, we all think of the same person.
Yes.
If you think of,
Fragrances,
a Muslim podcast, we think of the same person, right? It's very much like people have owned a space. It's good. More of us should do that. We should own a space, but don't worry if you don't find it straight away. It's hard to know that at a young age. You don't know what problem you're really going to solve. You don't know what problems are yet. You need to experience them. So you might I entered the e-commerce world, realized that one of the big problems was it's hard to grow your business because you need a massive team to do the marketing. You're probably going through this now, right? You need someone to do the ad buying. You need someone to do the content creation. You need someone to edit it. You need someone to do the posting. You need someone to just a massive
non-stop.
team.
It's
It's a big
non-stop,
team,
yeah.
right? I've had that team in the UK, in the office,
Yes.
50 people. It wasn't enough, You know what we used to talk about every time we used to have team meetings? We need more people. And so to solve that problem, because I saw that problem live and direct, I solved that problem by creating a company in Pakistan called TryVA, which gives you this back office team at a low cost of one person in the UK. You get a whole team over there. But that team can now deliver you marketing and content that you would need for your brand. So now I can give a small brand, I can give them a fighting chance. They may not still succeed. That's not in my hands, is it? That's in Allah's hands, right? But they got a fighting chance because you've now got a team that could produce TikTok content at scale. I just signed a client a few days ago who wants 10,000 reels uploaded to TikTok per day.
10,000.
10,000. So imagine how much team it's going to take to do it. I can give him that. It creates hundreds of jobs in my hometown. So I'm happy to do
It's
it.
like a win-win.
Right?
Yeah.
But for him, who's he going to get that done from?
Exactly, yeah.
I can give him this chance of like getting his brand out there. I don't know if it'll work. He thinks it will. He's done it for others, so he's thinking he can do it for himself now. But but this is how people are doing things at scale. I can give him this. Imagine recruiting that team in the UK. Like, he would be crazy, right?
It's costly, yeah.
So you can give now. But I had to experience that problem of being able to get yourself out there. I had to experience that problem to create the company. So then that took time. So then how am I supposed to have done that in my 20s? I was trying to discover the world yet. So you need to get out there and discover the things, right? Like, I've done sales. So when I did sales, I had to get out there into the public domain, go meet people, sell products to them, build relationships with them, get rejected. I had to do all of those things. And when I did it, I then learned lead generation, and I learned skills of negotiation, and I learned all of those things. Today, when I create a team in Pakistan that lead generates for businesses, I know what I'm doing. I know the basics at least of it, right? Or maybe I've got good experience that I can apply. So I couldn't have created that company. I couldn't have created TryVA without this experience. So I discovered my purpose. I want to create, my aim for TryVA, inshallah, is to create 1,000 jobs in my father's hometown. We've got to 150 odd, right? And I want to get to 1,000, inshallah. I'm going to keep going, inshallah, till we try and do it. But I couldn't have done that company if I didn't have all of this experience gathered. And that is what I think, you've got to recognize that you're on a journey. Don't beat yourself up that I should just be this like perfect solution. I should be making, what's it called, prayer mats so that everyone reads Salah on my mat. It's a good aim. I've got one of those kind of projects too. It's a good aim, right? People pray on your prayer mats. You get that, reward of what they do. It would be nice. But you don't have to be that direct yet. You're discovering. In your 20s and early 30s, you're discovering. I met someone the other day who said, "Oh, I've wasted my life." I said, "How old are you?" He said, 33. I said, "You're at your peak. What do you mean you've wasted your life? Your life hasn't started yet. You know, you've just been gaining some experience to actually start your life. Do you mean you've failed, right? You haven't failed at all. You were gathering all this experience and you won't know how it will apply. Sometimes I got into a, I had to arbitrate a business dispute between some Muslims recently. And when I was arbitrating it, I was thinking, why am I arbitrating? What gives me the ability here?
Yes.
And I was recalling a really bad thing that once happened where, you know, it was bad experience with someone and how I dealt with it and what I did. But I've got that experience. It's one of my scars. My scar helped them avoid having to have a fresh wound. They didn't need it because I brought my experience to bear.
Yeah.
Said, yeah, no, that's not how we're going to do this. We're going to do it like this.
You know, for people that are doing a product business and they've just started out, they're still trying to get consistent sales. What do you think is the first? Is there like, and you want to leverage your time, right? Because you can't be an expert in every single department. Is there you definitely need this employee as soon as you can, when you can afford them? And what role would that be? What role would that person take?
In a product business.
Yeah, product business.
You know, honestly, what I would do today, very different to what I've done in the past.
Okay.
What I would employ today is a project manager. Most entrepreneurs are going to be people like us, ideas people, visionaries. They 10 ideas a minute, loads of, you know, options on the table all the time. Everything's shiny to us. Those kind of people tend to be the entrepreneur. And they need someone with them who's an implementer. We call them, different names, right? Integrator, implementer, project manager, someone who actually gets it done. And so when I find those people, I always recruit them because they're like doers. There's less of them than there is of us. You'd think it'd be the other way around. We think we're special. We've got ideas, man. But you know what? Most people you meet have got ideas, right? Everyone's got ideas. Most people can't do it though.
Execution, right?
The executor is who you need. So what you need to your employee number one, I would today say, it needs to be this person who's your right hand, who you ideate, they implement. You go out, meet people, get yourself out there, you go on podcasts, you do all of these things. They'll hate doing that. We've all got that friend, right? They will never go on a podcast. For them, that's like horrible thing to do.
Of course, yeah.
They'd hate it. But we enjoy it. So you play to your strengths.
Yeah.
You get out there, you travel, you go and meet new people, you go and discover things. You know, what's it called? Vibe with different crowds and find things. And then you bring it back to them and they're the person who's like, okay, right, what we're going to need is a project plan. It's going to have 15 components and it's going to be spread over 12 weeks and it's going to happen like this. That's the person who you need as your right hand. Then they need a team. That's the next hurdle. They need the person who does the bit that they need. So they need to go to someone. We were doing this in the office today, right? In the office, I said, we should exhibit at an ETH event coming up for the Asian Business Chamber of Commerce in Birmingham. We should exhibit there. So that my implementing person for that company was the one who ordered the banners, got them designed, got the website updated, got the business cards made, got a leaflet done, all in the space of 2-3 hours. During our work day today, they were doing it, right? Now she is not a designer, not a video editor, not a website designer, not a a marketer. So who did they use? Well, they used our Pakistan team, right?
A specialist in those fields.
Yeah, she said, right, guys, I need a leaflet.
Yeah.
Send it back to me. Website guy, make this update. No, that's not. Marketing person, could you write the copy of what we're going to put on there? And between them, I could hear them from my office. I could hear all this going on outside. By the end of the day, she'd ordered the banners to be printed, ordered the leaflets to be printed. Everything arrives because we're off tomorrow for Eid. Everything arrives on Monday. We're doing this event on Tuesday. And but where did it start from? I said, remember, I get all the credit. I said, we should do this. We should exhibit. But that's all I said.
Yes.
I didn't do anything else. Now I'm going to look like, wow, this guy, he's able to turn around an event in 3 days and turn up and have a stand and talk about the company. I will go there and talk about the company happily, because I'm passionate about it. But I can't make an event happen. We're organizing the launch of our venture studio in London at Westfield on the 20th of this month, right? It's going to be a launch party with 60 people, a fireside chat, and we're going to talk about the Asan Venture Studio and why we're launching it.
Yes.
What do you think I'm doing for it?
Nothing.
Like literally, why? Because I'm not the implementer.
Have you heard of that formula? It's success is equal to entrepreneur plus management, but which is exactly what you're saying, right?
Yes.
So you need both of them to have that success.
Yeah.
So true.
But know which one you are.
Yes.
It's important for people starting out. Which one are you? Are you this ideas extroverted kind of like person, and then you're likely to be the visionary. If you're always thinking of the future all the time, you're a visionary. So you know who you are. You then need the other person who's the integrator. They're like a clock, very consistently. They make sure everything happens. Like my office, and I have never opened it in the morning. I've closed it because sometimes I'm the last to leave, but I've never opened it. I don't know what that looks like to open it in the morning.
Yes.
Because I'm not that meticulous. Be there 8 a.m. every day, opening the building, letting everybody in, and starting the day. I'm not that person. I never was. So, but I knew myself enough to know, don't take that responsibility. Give that to the person who's going to be good at it.
Do you think a lot of entrepreneurs, they struggle with that, which is they try to do everything themselves and they don't let go and give it, delegate, and as a result, they'll stop themselves from scaling up? Do you see that quite a bit?
That and at the same time, people delegate too early. They're not willing to graft. I think in the
Early stages.
in these days, Gen Z's coming into business. One criticism, or observation, maybe a better word, that I've got is that they're not willing to graft. Whereas in our time, we've unloaded trucks and driven vans, and we've built warehouses up, and we can do this stuff. To this day, we still have it in us. We know how to do it, right? So we had to dismantle racking. I sold a warehouse full of racking to someone, and their condition was, you got to dismantle it. I thought, no, please, no, just you come and dismantle it and take it. And they were like, no, we need it dismantled. So on the coldest day of the year last year, Christmas time, -6, we turned up, 4 of us, all my kind of age guys, because none of the young guys turned up. And we went and dismantled racking the whole day, working at heights, working heavy loads, we had scratches, we had, injuries. We spent the whole day doing that, and we had fun doing it. It's fine. We've got that ability to do it. My Gen Z team, I didn't even ask them to come. They literally don't know what graft is, right? Unfortunately, they don't have that within them. And if you want to build a business, you've got to be willing to graft. You're going to have to do everything, every job. If you're a CEO of a startup and you're not willing to clean the toilets, who do you think's going to do it?
No. Yeah.
Like, you think that, unless you're funded or something and you've got a whole team, you're going to need to roll your sleeves up.
Yeah.
You've got to be able to do these things. It's okay. I was painting something in the office last week. I had paint out and filler, and I was sorting it out. Can I afford to call in a decorator? Yeah, I can. But I'm just going to do what I can, right? It's my office. I'm just going to try and make it look a bit better, right? I'm going to try and fix a little thing if I can. Be okay with that. You don't need to be on your own high horse here as an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur isn't sitting on the Lamborghini on TikTok. That's not being an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur is solving a problem. You're solving a problem. People have this issue. I'm going to give them a product to solve it. So fall in love with the problem, fall in love with the solution, be really active in that space, be helpful to others in that space. Don't don't believe your own hype, and be all like, I'm just gonna be here. I'm this entrepreneur guy, and cigars are out and people are taking, selfies at, nice, locations, balcony in Dubai, probably being the most popular one. That's not being an entrepreneur. That's being something else I don't want to say.
I want to move on to a segment. It's called Build It or Bin It. So I'm going to give you 5 business ideas.
Okay.
It's up to you. You want to make it or you don't want to make it. Number 1, a travel agency that plans mystery trips you find out at the airport.
Build it.
Halal energy drink brand.
Build it.
Subscription box for Eid gifts.
Bin it.
Not interested.
No.
A beards only skincare line.
Bin it.
Luxury abaya rental subscription for weddings and events.
Bin it.
Let's do another segment. System or freestyle.
Okay.
So it's totally up to you. Do you have a? Are you? Oh, this is going to show actually to the viewers if you're organized or if you're just freeboarding it, right? Morning start. Are your mornings on a strict routine or do they vary?
Strict.
Strict. Hannah, how do they start?
So I start Fajr.
Yep.
My day starts with some Quran. Always trying to memorize a bit more. And then I go to the gym after a morning coffee. So my wife and I have a half an hour catch up on life. And then we have a coffee doing that. And then I go to the gym. And then from the gym, I come back home, get changed, and then go to work
And that's every morning.
every day.
Sweet. Planning the day, system or freestyle. Do you map out your schedule or go out with what feels right? So do you have a calendar and is that calendar completely always blocked?
Every hour of my day is pre-booked,
Always pre-booked.
always pre-booked.
And do you do that yourself then? Do you manage your own calendars? Okay. Email, system or freestyle? Because you said you'd go over 100 emails. Is that you yourself? Do you, anytime you got available, are you just checking or do you have dedicated blocks of checking emails?
I have time block. So I'll this is the time that I'm going to be going through my email. So I'll do it middle of the day and then I do it in the evening.
Okay.
So a lot of my activity is in the evening for email.
Yeah. I had workouts, you've answered that. Creative ideas. So especially being an entrepreneur, you'll come out with so many ideas. So do you plan on the thinking time or when you're at a supermarket, it'll just come to you? How does it work?
I'm never at the supermarket, so that one doesn't apply.
Yeah.
However, the ideas come to you spontaneously. Maybe the difference between me and most people I know is I'll start working on it immediately. I don't store it. I'll have a go at it quick. So an idea came to me today. I've already built the website, built the brand, registered the domain, written a proposal of what I'm going to pitch to someone to work with it on it with me, and I've got someone looking at the tech. That all happened in the first 2 hours of the idea. They might not do it.
The difference actually is, I don't know if you've heard of this, it's the 3-second rule. So in the 3 seconds, if you've heard of that idea, you straight away implement it and try to action it, right? You do that very well. And, inshallah, hopefully all of us can try to learn from them, try to do the same thing. Because I think a lot of people get stuck in a different way, which is they will have the idea, but they'll spend actually 2 hours, 3 hours of thinking about when they'll want to action it or when they'll want to execute it. But in that little time that they had, they could have just ate the frog in the morning. Have you heard of that saying? Yeah. So it's as simple as that. So I want to finish off the podcast, but with the last thing is, there's so many people that they'll say that they want to, they'll want to go in business, they want to make money, they want to be successful, but they'll want to, when they make it, they'll want to give back. What's your thoughts on that? Do you have any aims and plans in the future going forwards?
I'm going to say on this topic, that day never comes. I'll give back one day. That day doesn't come. The day is now. You don't know how long you're going to live. Life's limited. You don't know when you're going to leave. So you shouldn't be storing this thing of I'll do it later when I've made it. I know a lot of wealthy people who all their lives were saying, when I get old, when I retire, then I'm going to do it. And either they still haven't done it, or they're I haven't made it yet. Excuses. Or, that day doesn't come. You give what you can now. Do what you can now. How we say in the dawah, we used to be taught that the dawah is carried on the backs of the young, the youth. So, because they're the ones who can give the time, right? I'm on one of the teams in Birmingham that we work with, in the dawah and with reverts. It's always young people. I know when they get married, when they have kids, they leave the project. Life gets busy, gets hard, right? So who do you really want? You want the young guys who've got time, who've got the effort, got the energy. Similarly to us, right? I view that I'm in my now 40s. I've got a few years left, right? So that I'm going to be relevant or I'm a bit able to keep up with trends, and like I'm learning AI very actively at the moment because I want to stay relevant. So, but there'll come a point where I won't be as relevant anymore. I'll be really, outdated. So you give now, make effort now, do your best now. Don't have this thing of like I'm gonna do it one day. I used to think like this honestly in my own like my 20s. I used to think when I'm a millionaire, I'll do loads of good. What if you never are?
Yeah.
And then so you're never gonna do any good then? No, you do what you can now. I can mentor like 20, 30 people. I comfortably manage it. So I do it. I don't wait. Oh, when I'm like, totally free, then I'll do it.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna do it now. What's that gonna take? That means every day I gotta block half an hour, meet someone, talk to them, help them, open doors for them, encourage them, guide them. I need to do that, right? Is it taxing? Yeah, look, sometimes, right? I do 8 hours of back-to-back meetings in a day. 8 hours. I only stop to pray, and I keep going, and I have a headache at the end of the day. And what's it called? I'm driving home, feeling sorry for myself, thinking all day I've just been doing this thing. And then I remind myself, what was I doing? Was I doing it to make money? Was I doing it to make effort to please my creator? If the answer is I'm doing it to please my creator, good day. Doesn't matter how much money you'd made or didn't make.
Yeah.
Often the answer is zero, right? That's fine. But I hope I pleased my creator in some little way. That's enough for a slave. That's enough, what's it called, for a slave to have achieved, to have pleased his master. And we should be doing that in our work days, that we should be doing that in our efforts. And it's okay, right, for us to have done that. I'm grateful that I get to live that life. I'm not waiting one day, yes, I will do. I have intentions, by the way. The intentions is a different thing. I've got intentions whereby I'm like, one day I want to build a campus in Pakistan that teaches people skills that they get to live off, and it's a huge place, and I've bought the land for it.
Yeah.
I haven't put a brick down yet, but I've bought the land, thinking one day, inshallah, I'm going to build it. But my intention's there, right? That means Allah, if my intention's sincere, has already given me the reward of it. So I don't need to have actually my hands achieve it. Maybe somebody else does. Maybe they listen to this today and think, yeah, I could do that. I've got the money, or I've got the land, and I've got the intention too. Let me do it. Maybe they do it. That's totally fine, right? I get the reward of my intention. But so you can strive for those things, but you don't wait for this amazing utopia point to come where you've got loads of resources and money, and then now you write a check. The guy who's more valuable is the guy who has very little and he gives. The guy who makes me feel small in this world is someone who has very little and sometimes has given, he's given 10% of his wealth. 10%, because he has nothing. But what nothing he had, he gave 10%. Can I do that? Have I got the heart to match that? No. Well, most of us haven't, right? So I think that is the thing of like, you should be doing what you can now, putting in the effort, be inspired by others who give effort. Kind word. It could be, a smile. A smile, when someone's nervous and they're trying to pitch something and I'm there and I just smile at them, it's my contribution.
Of course.
It's little, isn't it? But it can help.
Yeah. I actually felt that quite a bit, because especially with each beer product purchase, right, 20% of profits goes to charity. But I was making too much sales, so I was always like, yes, alhamdulillah, we built a water well in the last, year, and we did a few other projects. But I was like, once there's more sales than that, I can't wait, because then a lot more money will be going into it. But especially from this conversation, and I've been thinking about this quite a bit, it doesn't really matter about, yes, that time will come, and then, inshallah, I'll be able to, donate more. But with whatever I had in the moment and in this situation, there was still so many.
Your intention's there.
Exactly, yeah.
So what's the problem?
Yeah.
Your intention's there, right? Now, if Allah gave you millions of pounds in sales of this product, and this brand becomes, inshallah, what's it called, the leader in the market. Well, your intention's there, isn't it? So that's what counts, not the value of it. Allah doesn't need you, doesn't need your contribution.
Exactly.
Your contribution doesn't do anything. Your intention, you need it. Your intention matters. So if you intend that and Allah wants to give it through you, how honored is a slave, right? That he gets to be the one. I'll tell you a quick story on this. We decided to set up a tech academy in Pakistan, and we thought we will set up, a training place where we'll have computers and we'll train 10 people every few weeks with tech skills, and then employ them, and then hire them out remotely to companies in the UK and US. Before we set up the academy, we went there to assess the ground and see, is there talent available that needs training? And so we asked the whole batch of graduates from that year, from that town, to come to the office. They came, and we were talking to them, and I was joking around with them, and I said, who's the cleverest out of all of you? Who's number one? And they said, it's this guy who hasn't come. I said, how come he didn't come? They said he's working in a field somewhere, cutting crops.
Yeah.
But he's the best out of all of us. Number one IT guy. I said, well, why didn't he come? They go, he's from a poor family, so he has to go and help.
Well, yeah.
So we got him, gave him a job, didn't even have an academy, trained him first before we even had that academy. And we built him up, right, to be able to have those tech skills that, we wanted to create in that space. We don't know what that guy's going to go and do. Our intention was there, that we wanted to create this opportunity. And this guy, I don't know what he'll become. Maybe he'll become bigger than Bill Gates.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Could be, yeah.
But I did what I could and put in the effort. My intention was a good intention. So I've done what I could. I've put the effort in to that person. Now, what then next happens is beyond my control anyway.
Yes.
So I did what I could, isn't it? And now, of course, we went further and got an academy going, and now we train people on a regular basis. And that company is called CloudSurge, and it specializes in Microsoft Dynamics and serves lots of customers. But the intention was, when we're going to help someone, and we helped that guy, and that day that we helped him, and I learned his full story, and how hard life was for him, and how he struggled, and found out that we really got to help him. I was done.
Yeah.
My intention now is fulfilled, right? Now, if Allah chooses to give me 1 million employees and lots of resources, and we become, a huge company, great. I'll continue doing what I intended in the first place, doing more of what we did with him. But if Allah doesn't intend that, He wants to give it to someone else, he does what He wills. Cool. But my intention was there. I've shown it by doing one. People can do that. You have committed to 20%.
Yes.
You've given it. If Allah gives you millions in sales, you continue to give 20%. And so if then He doesn't give you millions in sales, you got the reward of all of that because your intention was there. So we can all do our bit.
This was the Mumkin Motivation Podcast. Zhagum, Jazakallah khair for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, so how could they find you? Do you have any socials?
I'm on LinkedIn, active on LinkedIn. So Zhagum Arshad, I'm available there. I've got a website, zhagum.com, which is the one good thing about having a unique name. So it's spelled Zhagum. And so you can contact me through there. If I can help anyone with anything that they're doing, always happy to serve. That's the minimum we can do.
Perfect. So check him out on LinkedIn. He's always happy to help. That's how we've reached out on the podcast itself. Again, my socials are mumkin.official. And again, mumkin.store if you want to get any of our beard grooming products.